don't make money here. We just have a lot of fun, and that's fine. Like,
Welcome to Taste. I'm your host, Kelly Kim. Every week, I give you a taste of the on-chain future via yummy conversations with seriously on-chain builders. In this episode, we chat with Jaimin, the founder of Caddi, a browser extension that lets you bridge and swap on any website so that you don't have to open multiple tabs to make a mere transaction. In this conversation, we'll discuss his history as a quant, the story behind Caddi, what hurts about bridging right now. We even do a live bridge via the Caddi extension itself. We then go on to discuss the concept of bridge dick measuring, fun things to do on chain, and finally, I put Jaimin to the test to see if he really knows his bridges. After all, he is a builder of bridges. Now, I promise you, you won't be able to get over this conversation for a long time. So please, enjoy.
yo, yo, yo. How's it going, Jaimin? It's been actually not that long, but it's nice to chat. How's the weather where you are in the world?
Thanks for inviting me, and the weather is lovely. I'm currently in Montenegro. It's been around 25, 30 degrees. I've been here for a week already. And yeah, like enjoying life over here, quite close to the sea, nice bay. So no complaints really, but just, working hard behind the laptop for most of the time. So there's bits
Love
you can
it.
enjoy.
Yeah, basking in the sun while you bash bugs at the same time. That's the life.
That's it. That's what we're here for. As long as the view's good, then we're all good.
Exactly. As long as you're looking at nice things. But also, like, I feel if you have that, disconnect the craziness of working in crypto and always having to be on X and, all these social media platforms to get your alpha, you can decompress.
It's very nice to offset it because next month I'll be at ECC and it's just going to be hectic. Just meeting everyone, making some noise. And I also used to live, it was only a couple months ago, in a hacker house. So it was like 4 crypto founders. Wow. And, it's a bit of a madhouse all the time. I will say that, occasionally it's nice to take a bit of a break. And then, you can just execute from, I guess, a more isolated location and then come back to the craziness.
Nice. You're from the UK, right? You're from London.
Yeah, based in the UK usually. But, I've been traveling quite a lot this year. Spent some time in Asia and the US too.
Yeah. Why did you decide to move into a hacker house?
It was a great opportunity. The crypto scene in London is only so big, and we wanted to create a bit of a vibe of a SF hacker house. Back when I guess a lot of the big internet startups were starting up, the hacker house culture really, it was in SF, and we just felt like London didn't have it, and especially in crypto, where there's only so many people who are building in the same place at the same time. We just wanted to host events, have people over, and we actually managed to set up 3 houses in the end. So we formed a little bit of a co-living society. When I go back there, I'll probably, go to one of them and reconnect with old friends.
Nice. Are there any qualms or hacker house dramas that you can maybe tease? Or...
I mean, it's hectic. Everyone's a founder, right? So
right.
There's always something going on with a company of it could be Caddi, it could be, other housemates companies, but there's always something interesting to talk about. But it's good because we all have been there before. We can help each other out. Super grateful for we do challenge each other quite a bit. I remember when I raised last year, the condition of me raising was that at the end of it, we had to have the spiciest chili in the world in chip form. So we just have these fun little games that keep us engaged and keep it fun as well.
I love that. And then you can have founder support session where you kind of just sit there and listen to each other's pains and be like, I feel you, bro, or I hear you, or I don't know, you are seen. I don't know, all this stuff. That's great. And I actually want to go back to how we met because we met 2 years ago. It was through, what was it called? OX.
It was OX Friends or something.
OX Friends.
Yeah, OX Friends. I don't know if it still exists, but it was kind of fun.
It was a really cool program. I remember I connected my wallet, made a profile, and then based off my NFTs, my DAOs, it would Russian roulette different people to talk with, to talk to and catch up with. That was a really cool app. I actually don't think it's alive anymore, sadly. I'm not sure why.
Well, maybe there's a gap in the market now.
Right.
It was fun though. I think the randomness and serendipity. It was every week I would be matched with someone, and occasionally, I'd reach out and I'd just completely aired, and then occasionally I'd have a really fun call with someone that I've never met before. Do you like yourself?
Yeah, I was in Miami with iguanas.
Nice.
Sorry, I just remember every time I think of Miami, I just think of these lizards sunbathing around where I was where I would jet ski. I don't know. Sorry, it's my train of thought there. Raccoons and iguanas. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to head out there at some point.
No, Miami is great. If you like hot weather, it's great actually, because I'm not really a fan of hot weather, but I do like Miami in the winter, like Miami winter, because it's more bearable.
And where you are
But
now, like, how hot is it?
it's actually pretty cold. So Buenos Aires, it's like autumn, but autumn is just ending. So we're going into winter, but it's not too cold, right? I actually like a bit of cold. I like it when I can see my breath in the air. It's
Hmm.
just, I don't know, I grew up like this in New Zealand. I love a bit of nippy weather. Uh, very different to where you are.
Right now, but yeah, we did have a pretty cold winter in the UK.
Yeah, the UK gets intense. Yeah, no, here's to cold weather and enjoying it, except I guess you can't say that.
At the moment, I'm kind of enjoying the warm weather. Well, the lack of rain more so. It does get quite hot, but as long as you got AC, it's manageable.
Right, and as long as you have power, right?
Oh yeah, we were meant to record this podcast yesterday, but the power went out for literally like a few hours. So, but let's fingers crossed, touch wood, that doesn't happen today.
Exactly. You're in like mass shipping season, aren't you? So if when the power goes out, you do have an excuse.
Always in mass shipping season. There's always too much to ship and not enough time. So,
Love
but
that.
yeah, luckily we've got a good team who, regardless if I have power, they can still ship.
Love it. I want to talk a little bit more about Caddy. I actually want to get started talking about your life as a quant because I have a friend who's a quant, but I have no idea what a quant means. He keeps saying like quant is a noun. I don't know. Like, can you explain what a quant is, does, and likes?
Well, likes, as most humans, I guess, it's a bit of a range. But in terms of what a quant does, it's actually a very broad kind of term. Yeah, I can talk about like my own experience as a quant. I was at Citibank, so I guess major US bank, and to be honest, I didn't spend a huge amount of time there. But what I was doing for that brief time was looking at mortgage-backed securities, these things that you've heard about in the 2008 financial crisis. And we were looking at data like prepayment rates. So this is more on the research side. So you have like, I think broadly two types of quants. You have quant researchers, and they tend to be more on the statistics side. So they might do some machine learning, they might look at the data to make predictions, to make these models. And then you have a quant developer who is involved in the actual execution. So building, low latency systems, for example, distributed systems. If you've heard of high frequency trading, they're involved in making sure, you have the quickest execution because in traditional finance, it's all about latency, how quickly you can execute a trade based on maybe what these models are predicting done by the quant researchers to make sure that you essentially make profit or make the market, which is what a lot of these quants are doing. So it's a massive range. There's all sorts of asset classes. I won't bore you with the details of that. In crypto, it's kind of a little bit more fun, I would say. But yeah, like my life as a quant, like I also worked at a startup and we did machine learning forecasts for people to, create their own kind of predictions of markets and then execute them actually on like, retail trading platforms. So yeah, was in traditional finance, working on the quant side, but then quickly fell in love with crypto. And then, yeah, the rest is history.
So as a quant, is crypto really enticing? And what about crypto is enticing exactly?
Yeah, so I mean, I've kind of been interested in crypto for a while, more on the tech side, the promise of smart contracts. And I saw it as a bit of a Wild West. I wasn't really thinking about going into crypto full time at all, really, when I had my job. But then I started to see a lot of opportunity. So the thing that is enticing is that the markets, particularly this was in 2021, they were much less efficient in crypto, and they still are much less efficient in crypto than they are, in traditional finance, because obviously it's like a much older traditional system. Crypto is brand new, and there's new things popping up all the time. So the actual way to make money in crypto, if you're like, someone who can code and build systems, it's a lot easier to get set up. There's always new things launching, like new chains, new ecosystems, and that represents a new opportunity, or maybe it's an exchange. The kind of work that I was doing was for most of 2021, I did this on my own. I was executing trades based on events. So I was kind of scraping data from the likes of Twitter when Elon Musk had, open APIs, and, web scraping. So looking at websites, looking for listings of tokens, and basically, using this information, doing a bit of statistics on it to see what I would predict the price to be, and then executing trades automatically. And then I did a bit of arbitrage, which was on Solana, and then centralized exchanges. So kind of looking at price differentials between, one token on both of these platforms, and then, just capturing the difference. So yeah, I did this for about a year, and so much more entertaining. And I was honestly working so much harder at my job. So I just quit and then decided to do it full time. And I I made a decent amount of money, enough so that, I was able to quit and not really worry about it for the next year and a half. And that's kind of where I've been now. But yeah, like there's a lot of opportunity as a quant developer in crypto.
Love it. And you guys have all the tools as well. You know how everything works, know how to read numbers. That's really important in crypto, especially if you want to earn a lot of money. Unfortunately, for the non-numerically gifted, we don't make money here. We just have a lot of fun, and that's fine. How did you get into building Caddy? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I built a variety of tools during that time, and I noticed a couple of problems in the space. One of them is that liquidity was pretty fragmented. So I built a Telegram bot, which was able to trade on centralized exchanges. And you could track people on Twitter, and then you could execute trades. So this thing was called Lazy Trade because it was a very lazy way to trade. And you could one-click buttons. And I started to get fascinated with moving things on chain. And I wanted to build something in the non-custodial space, because I looked at crypto in 2017 and I thought, when we were going to use smart contracts was way off, and then I started to see more apps actually being used. I was like, hang on, I can use on different chains even many smart contracts, whether it's a DEX, whether it's a lending platform, and plug in my non-custodial wallet like a MetaMask, and then just experiment really. So I thought, I kind of see this as being the new wave. So I kind of ditched a lot of the centralized finance stuff I was doing. Before it was plugging into Binance, FTX at the time, KuCoin, but kind of saw this on-chain future being realized as I was building. And then I noticed that there's just massive spread of where the liquidity is, whether it's on Ethereum, like any L2s that were out at the time. And for users, it's quite hard to know exactly where to trade to get the best price. Most people were using Uniswap, or the occasional more advanced user was using a DEX aggregator. So we built a Chrome extension that was able to take a trade that you're making on a DEX or any platform, and then actually go and find the best price, even if it's not on the platform that you're trading. So it would kind of jump in just as you're trading and say, by the way, I found a much better price, and you can save $100 on this individual trade. And that's optimizing for gas as well as where the best liquidity is. So we launched that in 2020, well, it was last year, 2023. And yeah, got quite a few users. And then we started to see a new problem emerge, and that was bridging. So, I'm sure if you've bridged, especially over the last year, it has got better now, but it's a real pain. A lot of people are left in the dark. They're not sure where their funds are. I mean, really just doing things in this multi-chain world is actually quite difficult. Sometimes it takes up to 20 minutes or longer to bridge. And it's very hard to know which bridge is the best bridge in terms of price, in terms of speed, which ones that you can trust as well. And I'm sure you've heard of different bridges being hacked. So we've now built a bridge aggregator, and BYOB, bring your own bridge, is a little bit descriptive of what it does. And you can bridge from every single website. So Caddy makes it a lot easier for anyone who's on chain to get tokens to the place where they need it. So where and when they need it, they can just open up Caddy from a little tab and can route tokens around. And we make sure that you get the absolute best price. We also try and make it fun as well, just to make sure people are entertained.
Love it. Yeah, I can't imagine if someone came into crypto right now and there's all these different chains and none of them, or at least the interoperability aspect, not there yet. It must be really frustrating, At least when I started, it was just kind of, you want to do Solana or you want to do ETH? And I kind of just copped the high gas on ETH. I was like, yeah, this, at least it works. But now you have all these different options and way to optimize your different transactions, but there's no way to bridge. And I remember in Argentina, we use a lot of crypto, right? Even to get cash out, there's places that you send crypto to, and then they give you cash, but you have to bridge your cryptos into I can't remember what chain it was, but it was super weird. And this was during Muy Buenos, by the way, which is a crypto pop-up city. everyone works in crypto. Nobody knew how to bridge funds to this particular chain. It was insane. So yeah, I love it. BYOB.
It is, I remember being at ETH Denver earlier this year, and I had around, it was like an hour to get to the event that I was meant to be at, like at a certain time. And I'm like, okay, what I need to do, because like I think that week crypto just went up massively. I'm like, I'm just gonna take some profits and then sell and have some in my bank account. So, the US is an expensive place, just so I can, spend some money basically. So I was trying to like figure out where my funds were and then bridge to like a place where I could off ramp it from like a centralized exchange. And it literally took me 45 minutes because I was waiting for transactions to finalize. I'm like, did it go through? And this was before we built BYOB, so it was kind of like an idea at that point. And I was really just like shocked at, this is the future of finance. Why is it taking me 45 minutes? Like, this should be instant. I should be able to just know what's going on. I should be able to understand. I should feel confident actually going to get the money out. And I just felt like awful the entire time. And I was like almost missing the event I was meant to be at as well. So yeah, it kind of came from that. And, hopefully we're giving people a lot more confidence to execute the bridge transactions that they need, make sure if it needs to be done quickly, it can, and really just give crypto to users like really at their fingertips from any interface.
I love it. How do you get started with BYOB? You mentioned it's a Chrome extension. Do you need to KYC or do anything?
So yeah, really fascinated with the non-custodial space. So, in general, like we want to be completely on-chain. So there's no need to KYC like you would for a centralized exchange. The custody of the funds doesn't happen with Caddy. It's always in your browser wallet. So we've got browser wallets. We're going to integrate Wallet Connect soon as well. We're pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can't go wrong with little Chrome extensions. And also Chromium is the future. What browser do you use? Let's go off the agenda for a bit. I want to know your like DeFi stack or your Web3 interaction stack. Just curious, like what wallet do you use and what browser does the job for you?
So, I guess I'm relatively normie in like what I use, but that's also because I'm like trying to test out the thing that everyone uses. So I use Brave, which I think like a lot of crypto people use. I would like to use Arc, but I think whenever I like try and get into it, I'm always like, okay, like Brave is safer and people like understand Brave. And then there's also like MetaMask as well. So that's my standard daily driver wallet. But then I have used I use Coinbase Wallet for like my more degen portfolio, which is actually really, really good. And then I use Phantom for Solana stuff. Rabby I use, but not like as regularly. Just have like a separate wallet there. And Zerion Wallet, I use actually the Zerion app on mobile to track. Pretty good portfolio tracker.
Okay. Let me know if you need help with Arc. I am an Arc evangelist.
Yes.
Although I don't do like that many degen things, so I don't really care about security, unfortunately. So that might be a deal breaker.
I think that's all right. Like, honestly, I should probably learn it. I've heard it just gets rid of this endless tab switching.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm at your service. Live walkthrough whenever you want. I don't
Sounds
get
good.
paid for this, although I would love to. So if anyone from Arc or the browser company is watching this and wants to, I don't know,
Right.
sponsor us this, yeah. I am here. And just having a look at our agenda, we have degen versus hire. No, that was because we wanted to do a live bridge. Is that possible?
Yeah, I can show you how Caddy works. I guess I've been talking about it. Wouldn't be bad to take it for a spin.
Why not? If anyone is listening to this just on audio, you might want to jump onto the YouTube just to have a look. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll kind of show you how like a typical user would use Caddy. If we're on like CoinGecko, or this could be literally any website. So it could be on Twitter. I think, one of the tokens mentioned there was like degen token, it's a Farcaster token. Been getting, a little bit deeper into the Farcaster space. And this is like a tipping mechanism. So you can see it's like up 11% today. It's not half bad.
Nice.
And what you can do with the Caddy extension, you get 3 options. So this is Caddy. He's always here. Well, not always here, but like if he's on CoinGecko, and he's there to help you bridge, swap, or even chat. So I don't know if anyone's left a comment here, but you can say GM, degens. That's like a little fun feature. And then this is specific to this degen token here. So this works on every single website, and you basically have a chat room now, which is linked to your social profiles if you want as well. Anyway, that was like a brief side demo. We'll show the bridging feature. So here, you've probably never swapped on CoinGecko or bridged on CoinGecko because you can't until you have caddi. So here's an example of how it would work. So let's go to, we're on base here and choose degen token. There we go. And we're going to bridge from, let's say, Arbitrum. We've got some ETH here, so 0.01. And it will fetch the root. So the cool thing about caddi is it compares all of the bridges that we've integrated. So that's across, connects, circle, hop, or bridge, and symbiosis for this route, particularly like Arbitrum ETH to degen base. It looks like the cheapest and probably the fastest as well is across. It's going to take 1 minute, tell you how many transactions you have to execute. So that could be something that you have to approve or something you have to bridge then swap, and it's going to tell you the gas price as well. So let's do this. Let's get some degen tokens. So you do bridge now, and this is the cool bit. So your wallet, whichever one it is, will pop up and tell you that you are going to sign this transaction. So let's go ahead, confirm that, and we have this fun little animation which will estimate how long your bridge transaction will have. And once it's received on the source chain, which is Arbitrum in this case, then this little logo will start moving across the bridge. So now you can see it spinning, and you can literally, the cool thing about this is you can close this down, you can go away, you can use another app, you can go on Twitter, browse, and then your caddi tab is here as well. So you can look at the transaction that's going through. So you can see here, it's a list of previous transactions. I actually think this one is connected to my other wallet, so I can connect it to the wallet that's on here. But let's say, for example, this bridge transaction, it's telling me to swap. So I think caddi just popped up, and then you'll be prompted to swap to complete this transaction. So this is swapping ETH to degen on base. So this is actually a bridge and a swap. And you can see there's the logos over here, about halfway through, and now you're swapping. So it's really simple. The goal is to make it easier to bridge and swap. I don't think you have to open up any other tabs wherever you are. So that actually got completed, and you can see here all the transaction hashes. So we should have some degen in this wallet. We'll have a look. I guess we can see here what happened on chain, and we've got some degen tokens, something small.
Damn.
And we've got.
I love this.
I mean, mostly EVM, and we're supporting. I think you mentioned earlier that you weren't even sure how to bridge to a particular chain. So the cool thing is, even if there are chains that we don't support, we have external bridges that we will direct you to. So, for example, Ton, it's kind of a popping off ecosystem. We will say you can bridge to Ton using ddust. And it's not even us, it's just caddi will tell you, you want to bridge, go here. And we're going to do this for hundreds of chains. So even if caddi can't do your swap within our interface from integration, but then we can actually give you the path to getting those tokens.
Sweet. Wow, this is really, really neat. So you can, just to clarify, you can connect a different wallet depending on the website you're on, and which website you open caddi on, or?
Yeah, so I mean, for example, I was on Twitter, and I think the previous wallet that I connected on Twitter, which is a caddi specific integration, was just one of my wallets. So I can switch it probably to switch this account, and we can open this up, and this is the same wallet that I was using on the other page. So the historic transactions here might be cash, so I'll just refresh it. Let's see.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Here we go. That was the transaction that we just executed. So this is the same wallet. 0.01 ETH to degen.
I love it. I also love the detail, caddi, the golf course. And what was if you know you again? Is it what is this for?
So I mean, we like to name our features in kind of fun ways. So IYKYK is if you know you know. It's like a chat box. So you can see everyone who's been on Twitter who's just mentioned something, and then you can discover people. So I mean, the goal of this one is social. We want crypto to be collaborative. So if you go to an app, let's say Alpha Friends, for example, this is a Farcaster app where it's it's kind of similar to FriendTech, a social fi app. I know someone dropped a comment the other day right? I think, I mentioned Alpha Friends experimenting time. Now I can see there's another Alpha Friends user, so I can discover them on Farcaster. And, you can actually see, okay, maybe this person's using the same apps that I am. Maybe they're doing something interesting on chain. They have some cool alpha, something that they're doing. And then you can go and actually just see, okay, we have like-minded interests. Let's hang out, or let's like message each other. You can tag each other. So yeah, that's kind of Caddy's if you know feature. The goal is to just foster collaboration across crypto.
I love it. This is really cool. This is really, really cool. I'm definitely going to try it. I can't say I do that much bridging on chain, but I will definitely use this next time.
If you
Super
swap as
cute.
well, I mean, swapping is like, it's pretty simple too. So we have a couple of different aggregators, and depends on the chain that you've integrated. But this is just like a very simple swap. So it's the same as any DEX, but you're doing it on Twitter, or you're doing it where you actually want the token to go and use an app or something. So yeah, there's slightly different animation, but
It's amazing. This is like a degen trader's dream. Like you don't have to go to any other sites and like maybe lose that trade. You can do it all from that website. So that's great.
Yep.
Also, that's hilarious. Like your home feed right now is hilarious.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what was going on. Lazy.
Amazing. Okay, thank you for that.
Funny.
Oh
I didn't
gosh,
realize it was up there actually.
Twitter is hilarious.
Oh god.
You never know what you're gonna get. So
Maybe we can
don't
redact
open it at work.
in post. I'll stop sharing for the sake of your audience.
Sweet. That was exciting. That was very exciting. A little live demo of Caddy, BYOB. Cheers to that. I'm just going to have a little.
Cheers. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was not a good sound.
Oh,
you actually have a bevy.
Well, it's not actually a bevy. This one's like a sparkling water.
Break it open. Cheers.
Yeah. BYOB. Cheers.
That sound right there it means my mate is empty. But let's see.
Time to top it up.
All right. Next up, I have here bridge dick measuring. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about across versus Stargate. And I assume we have this on here because there's always beef between bridges, right? And you're like in the weeds of it. So please enlighten us. Who has the biggest dick of all bridges?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love some drama in the crypto space? And I feel like this is honestly one of the best things about building in this space, that there's never a dull day, like truly. Whether it's good or bad, there's always something going on. Like recently, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a big launch. So Stargate, which honestly was one of the first bridges that ever launched. That was back, I think 2 years ago, they launched their first bridge built on layer 0. They have launched their V2 version. And up till quite recently, I think Across has been basically like the cheapest and fastest bridge since Stargate has this new mechanism. So Across is an intent-based bridge. Basically, people can request to bridge something, and then there's going to be someone that goes in and solves that or fulfills the request. And Stargate has a very different model. Their V2, they use this kind of new token standard, so like an omnichain fungible token. There's been a lot of debate between the founders for years, in fact. They've always been constantly beefing each other. It's really entertaining because like sometimes it gets quite vicious, I will say. And then, most recently with the launch of Stargate V2, Hart, who's the founder of Across, was basically cherry picking transactions and saying like, hey, look, you guys can't say you're the cheapest bridge. You can't say you're the fastest bridge because I found transactions that like Across is way better. And then Brian, who's the founder of Layer 0, is basically like saying, hey, look, you got to look at like aggregate data. And like, they were arguing at one point the difference. These are like two obviously very technical people who've built bridges. They were asking about whether average means median or mean, and it's just like okay. So who has the biggest dig in bridging right now is very hard to say because we don't have data. But the cool thing is, with Caddy, we'll be able to solve this. So we're integrating Stargate V2 as we speak, and Across, which we actually just used just now, we're able to calculate the data and say, look, this is the best bridge for you to use. But the good thing is, it doesn't really matter if you're a Caddy user. Sometimes Across is going to win. Sometimes Stargate is going to win. You're always getting the best quote. So you're getting the best of them. There's no point really going to like either of those interfaces, like going to a cross because you might not be getting the best price, or going to Stargate because you might, again, not be getting the best price or the fastest route. You might as well use Caddy because we aggregate them, plus all of their competitors as well, which occasionally are cheaper and faster as well. So there's basically been a lot of beef. I'm so here for it because my Twitter was going crazy over the last couple of weeks.
So the dicks are varied. They change in length every day, depending on the time. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Long,
Interesting. So if like for anyone who wants this drama, if they just go to like the founders pages, can they like read into this, get their popcorn, and like have a good night with it?
Yeah, so the founder, Brian Pellegrino, is like a primordial AA on Twitter. And it's and yeah, I think Heart's one is Hal 2001, HAL 2001. You'll probably see, I think like they've probably pinned like their beef on their profile, so it's fun. I love it. Like
welcome to crypto.
I love a bit of PvP because crypto is that kind of space where everyone's like kind of trading against each other, especially like there's these vibes where obviously everyone's like we're all going to make it, and collectively I've been going deep into the Farcast ecosystem, and it's awesome because people are like, oh, you're building this, like let's help promote this and let's collaborate. And then there's also just like the on-chain degen traders and people who are like they're literally just like fighting each other like directly PvP. So a little bit of both, and it's quite good to be a builder who's like obviously trying to build, integrating a ton of protocols, integrating people, but I do love a bit of drama as well.
The builder's like, hey, we're just here to like code. We just want to like do stuff, but then in their free time, of course, they need that entertainment. So it's good that we have that. And that's also, I guess, a founder's job. So maybe one day you'll have some pinned beef on your profile. I just saw that you got to 2K followers on X.
Yeah. So,
congrats.
Baby steps. But
hello.
Yeah. I didn't get one of those. If I have beef, I think that's a good thing. Yeah. I'm down for some beef. We'll take it.
Beef is a good thing. That's,
I think generally, like on apps,
quote
like,
you on that.
the algorithm favors like more strong interactions, like things that get people like motivated or kind of like annoyed. So if there's beef, then we're probably pissing some people off, which is, although I don't want to piss everyone off, it might not be a bad thing for engagement.
Yeah, every once in a while you gotta make a scene. In fact, like when I see too much of love me or like love this, I get bored. I'm like, I don't even know if this person is like serious about what they say. I can't trust them. If you don't have anything bad to say about people, like I don't think you should keep it to yourself. Like put it out there. Just be your true self.
But I also think that it like forces you to be a bit more considered, because if like you just put something out there, no one criticizes it, then we've had people saying like, oh, what are the security assumptions of Caddy, which is like a really valid point. Like, well, what are they? It's like, oh, I don't tend to trust Chrome extensions which have this kind of stuff. So then it forces you to be like more transparent and actually answer the questions, which maybe it wasn't apparent that you were doing before. So there are positives to it as well. And if you can kind of ignore like the hate, where it's just blind, and just look through to actually like, okay, maybe they have a point here, then maybe it's all for the better.
Yeah. I'm curious, as a founder, to what point do you try to like answer every single one of those queries? Because I remember when I was trying to build this Airbnb app, like I was so scared. There were so many people who were like, there are so many things that could go wrong. You're never gonna like make this happen. Right now, you can't do it. Like there were so many pain points that made me think, like that actually like kept me awake. And I was like, okay, fine, you're right. I'm not the right person to take all this weight on my shoulders. Like, what's that, what's the balance as a founder, like as, in terms of answering people's questions and giving them trust versus keeping yourself sane and going heads down and building?
So I think this is quite interesting because there's like a very delicate balance, right? You really have to like listen to what users are saying. if you ship something and users are telling you that they don't like it, then you'd be a fool if you completely ignored them, right? Maybe you will push on and you will actually build something that they then start to like. So that's like a case of iteration. It is listening to people, it's really understanding their problems, and then iterating on that. But then there's also, you have to be a little bit more considerate as well when you're getting advice from people who might not understand the full situation, right? I remember like we had, if shipped, or we were about to ship it, and I would send it to like literally 100 people, and I'm like, we're gonna do this, and like a lot of them came back and said, this seems like the worst idea ever because of spam and like scams, and like you're gonna get all these things. And to this day, I don't think we've had a single scammer who's actually tried to use it. So if I kind of blindly listen to them, I mean, definitely with scale, it could become a problem. But I think, the ability for someone to advise on whether, the thing that you're doing is right or wrong really is independent from, it depends on their experience, but it's independent from you being able to actually solve that problem. So occasionally you've got to be quite thick-skinned, but I generally try and hear the argument from everyone and say like, are they right? And you got to think, I guess a little bit for yourself, saying maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I've been told many times by people, hey, just build an interface for Caddi, which is just like a website that people can swap on. But I'm very confident that this extension is kind of the way to go. And occasionally, you do have to say, what if we actually built an interface? What would that look like? How would we grow that? How would we scale? What would we do differently? And ultimately for us, I just think there's too many interfaces out there, and this Chrome extension is much more unique, but also provides more value to the users as well. So it would be easy to just give in and say, hey, look, let's build an interface, but at the same time, kind of sticking to your guns and being confident in that decision. Then it is a balance.
I really love that. Like at least you like mentally entertain it and think of like how this might pan out, but ultimately you have your like Northern Star, right? And what sets Caddi apart from the rest is being an extension, being portable, being cute, and helpful. So I love that. Okay, that's a really wise take. Some wise words from a founder right there. Uh, I want to talk about also, like, it's kind of on the same topic. People have a lot of FUD. There's people who are FUD crypto, but the reason we haven't onboarded like the mass, like the consumer mass, is because they're scared and they have all of these, misconceptions about our space, our ecosystem, probably because of people like the founders of Across and Stargate who are constantly beefing, like who can take them seriously, right? From your perspective, what's the best way to, let's say, like bridge the masses on chain? Is it a matter of creating more apps, or do we actually need better infra? Like there's always that argument of apps versus infra, right? So yeah, let's start there. Apps versus infra to onboard the next billion.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not going to get there without like decent infrastructure. There's no question. The one thing that like I will say is Bitcoin and Ethereum as just like assets to buy as investments, that's been like attractive enough for people to get on board. And I think there's something like between 400 to 500 million users of crypto who they could just own some Bitcoin on a centralized exchange. But what really excites me, and the reason that I actually got into the space, was because I started to see on-chain apps being developed. And I personally think we're not ready to really onboard the masses. Like I said, like using on-chain when I was trying to like just sell some tokens before like I had to go to this event in East Denver, it took me half an hour, and I've been in crypto for the last 2 years, right? So if someone had my portfolio and like hadn't been in crypto for the last 2 years, it might take them 2 days. Like just knowing what to do, I think we've got a lot to do on both sides. But it's interesting that apps and infra always comes in waves. During bear markets, infra projects get funding. There's a lot of infra projects which they're experiments and might not work out. A couple months I've been logging on. It's all about like the hot apps. Yeah. If I think about friend tech, there's always a financial incentive, like prediction markets. But this is still valuable. And I think it's almost like the Trojan horse to delivering real value is onboard people through some financial speculation, like whether that's a meme coin launched by Iggy Azalea or whatever. And then actually, more people actually that they're aware of it. I can imagine people looking at the space, looking at it and saying, hey, look, this looks like all scams. But realistically, I don't think the infra is there yet to have really seamless experiences. Whether that's super fast block times, it's wallets which don't require you to write down your seed phrase and connects to the multiple blockchains. So I just think this process is going to take a long time, and I can't put a number of years on it. But if you're a long-term minded builder, then you'll see better infrastructure for I want to be an app builder, so to build the next generation of apps which is using all of that. Like I'm seeing embedded wallets being used, and it makes the app experience a lot better. I'm not the biggest fan of all of what's going on with embedded wallets because it's hard to get money out of them, especially when it's kind of part owned by the app itself. But these things are happening. There's a lot of developers working on it, and ultimately, the more attention there is on it, we are going to see more developers join, more builders, and more users over time.
Love it. I'm very bullish on getting rid of dust wallets with embedded wallets, by the way. I don't know if you saw, but just today, I mean, this podcast is not related to Wallet Connect. So for anyone listening, this is not part of Wallet Connect, but it is my day job. So I love it. I love what we're shipping. We shipped universal wallets, which are really cool because then you don't have to have 1,000 different wallets for 1,000 different apps, and you still get that sick app experience. Yeah. Super cool. What about going niche versus going mainstream from the perspective of a founder in crypto? What would you go for?
So, I mean, it's classic startup advice that you got to find 100 users who really love your product, which I guess is a niche. And I do think people in a niche have a much stronger pain point than the general masses. I think it's the first time, being a first time founder, when I was building, it was lazy trade. I'm oh, we're going to build a general app to onboard CeFi and DeFi and on-ramping. And I just built all of that. And then I realized hey, what's the niche here? It's it's way too general, and it's much easier to pick a small group of users who have a really strong pain point. In this case, it's bridging, or it's degens who are hyper engaged and they actually swap so much that it makes sense for them to have a swap widget on every single website that they use, which is that's not my mum. It's not exactly. Most of my none of my non-crypto friends for sure. Even in crypto, that niche is small, but then once you start solving that problem for them, then we can actually expand and do more and more things. So I would say always start with niche when you're an early stage startup. If you're building something which is going to be absolutely massive, I don't know, let's say if the founders of Ethereum, they obviously had this vision for it, right? They probably still started small with the people who they offer the ICO to. I don't know the details, but so have a big vision, but start small.
Nice. Love it. What do you tell your mum that you do? Just curious on the topic of your mum.
What do I tell my mom that I do? I just say crypto and make it easy for on-chain users to, well, I don't even know if she knows on-chain, but for crypto, use other crypto apps and own tokens. So yeah, I wonder how she explains it to her friends because that's got to be funny.
Right. No one ever talks about that. They explain how you can explain it to your mum, but how does your mum explain it to her friends?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She'll probably just tell them my son works in Bitcoin.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's something financial.
Good. Last question, actually second to last. You could say in one word. What's your chain thesis? Who's gonna win?
Win is a very hard word.
Okay,
hard.
let's say who's gonna have the biggest stick?
Well, you know what? This is a dark horse. It's getting more attention now, but Ton. I love I love the user experience of Telegram for a start. It's where I spend 50% of my day every day. So and just realizing that the number of users there and the cool wallet experiences you can build with a blockchain which is native to Telegram is huge. We're starting to see more mini apps. I've been developing some. I actually built one with Wallet Connect for a hackathon, not this ETH but the one before.
Wow.
I really think that it just has the main problem of crypto solved, which is distribution. They already have their 900 million monthly active users. So Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about that. And they only just launched their smart contract platform like less than a year ago. And they're doing a lot of like, they're changing the languages around. So there's a lot of like, kind of things to sort out, but I wouldn't bet against them.
Ooh, okay, hot take right there. Okay, super last question. I know you bridge a lot, you swap a lot. What other things do you do on chain that you find really fun?
So I mean, there's a lot of random websites that I go on, just like in crypto, like friend sends a link into a Telegram group, and you just like, what the hell is this? Or you just stumble across it on Twitter. So I like SocialFi. I think it's quite hard for SocialFi not to be a fad, because it's like a fun game for a bit, and there's obviously some financial incentive to use it, and then like token goes down, or like whatever you're speculating on doesn't have the same volatility, so there's less reason to do so. A couple of these cool experiments are like world PvP. um, you basically have every country in the world. There's like 200 countries, and each one has its own token. It's kind of like a meme coin. Then you buy whatever countries you're bullish on, and the person who has the most holding of that country is their president or prime minister or whatever it is. And then the top prime minister or president like gets to nuke a country. So it's this game where like you reduce the number of countries, and there's like coalitions forming. To be honest, I haven't kept up to date with it, but I was playing this like a couple weeks ago, and bought some like, UK like, and it's kind of fun because I mean, I met some people from there as well, like on Telegram. They were like hosting a
Oh,
Twitter
wow.
space about what the UK should do. So it's like kind of a it was a
Oh
fun
my
fun.
gosh.
One thing I really like is also 0x People. So I kind of listen to a podcast,
Yes.
and it's kind of a weird concept because usually people want to be very anonymous, or like kind of keep their identity hidden when they're doing things on chain, and this is just kind of flipping it on its head and saying, hey, I'm going to publish some of my wallet's activity. It's obviously optional whether you do. They've got a brilliant wallet tracker, but there also is a social feed, so you can comment on it, you can see what other people are doing, you can discover people because it's all linked to social profiles like Farcaster and Twitter. And I'm just observing what people are doing. People are probably observing what I'm doing with my wallets, and it's very interesting. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. I'm watching you, by the way. I don't know if
All
you know,
right.
but I know every single bridge that you do from your public account. It's very fun.
It's a weird concept in crypto, right? Like, but I mean, realistically, this is all public data. Like, I have my EMS,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, how many Jaimin.eths, like, or but it's just like saying, okay, we're gonna make it all public and try and make people connect, or give people alpha.
No, I'm obsessed. And they also have a function where you can see like graphs, like you can see your social graph. That I love that. I'm obsessed with those little like UI details. Big fan here.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's worthwhile.
yeah, I'll
It's
drop the link down here. Again, I'm not an affiliate. I just love this project. But if you do see it and you wanna, help us out, I'm here. Uh, okay, we have guessed the bridge, and I'll probably put these up on the screen, but let's wrap up this pod with testing your bridge master skills. Let's start with the first one on the very top left.
okay. So I was there earlier this year. It's the Golden Gate Bridge in SF.
Okay,
I
nice.
think, I think, yeah.
And then, okay, so top right.
Top right. Ooh, I really don't know. There's a beach. Maybe it's like Turkey or something, like Istanbul, but I have no idea.
It is, okay, I'll give you a hint. They have good yum cha here.
Hong Kong, like I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a Singma Bridge in Hong Kong.
Singapore Bridge. Okay. I was
I
there
had no
earlier.
idea.
Wait,
Oh,
yeah.
you were?
Yeah.
All right, and let's go bottom left.
I don't know. This is a very interesting bridge. I have not seen that before. It doesn't quite look real, but I don't know. Maybe it's in the Middle East somewhere.
Okay, I can see how, like, it reminds me of Dubai too. But no, it is the Helix Bridge in Singapore.
I was also there earlier this year as well, so I feel maybe I'm just not observing bridges. I'm too busy bridging on blockchains.
Okay, and the last one, you've got to know this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, people get this wrong a lot. It's actually Tower Bridge, not London Bridge, but it's Tower Bridge.
Are there two bridges in London?
There's a lot of bridges on the Thames, yeah. So which one did you think that was?
No, I mean it is the Tower Bridge, but I
Yeah.
also thought it was like the alias for it was like the London Bridge.
There's like an
No?
interesting story where someone like ordered like a replica, like a big like a bridge built exactly like the London Bridge, expecting Tower Bridge, and they I think it was somewhere in the Middle East, but they eventually got like the replica of London Bridge, and it's just nowhere near as nice.
Classic. Okay, well I learned something new. 2 out of 4, not bad, not bad. All right, Bridge Master. That was
All
great.
right.
This was a really fun chat. Where can people find you and what's up? What's coming up next with Caddy and all things Jaimin?
Yeah, yeah. So you can find me at Jaimin underscore building, and that's on Twitter. That's I think I'm just at Jaimin on Farcaster. What else is coming up? Well, Caddy Finance, Caddy underscore finance on Twitter. It's probably the best place to follow along with Twitter. We are going on a really fun hackathon sprint. So we're building cool things that you can like. We might have some small incentives here to use if you know you know the comment box, and then we're integrating every single chain under the sun. So you can swap, bridge, you can do everything across anywhere where you have crypto. So by the end of summer, Caddy is going to be like on all surfaces. Very excited for that. And then yeah, we're doing a bit of like fun experimentation around growth and distribution now. So there's going to be some competitions. Look out for a scavenger hunt. So you might have to use different dApps across the ecosystem to get some
Ooh,
some little rewards here and there. And yeah, we're doing currently the base on-chain summer hackathon. So we've got an exciting plan for that to make Caddy a little bit more habit forming, but I won't give too much away.
love it. Just bridge it, people. Thanks so much, Jamin. This was so much fun. And let's keep in touch. Let's keep in
Yeah.
touch, especially when you support Wallet Connect.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Really appreciate this.
Bye.